Hi and welcome to the Tog Blog, and today I just want to talk about gear. In preparation for some of the photography tips I give you, I want you to understand the camera I'm talking about here. Now this is a film SLR camera, which basically means that it has all the functions of a digital SLR, i.e. manual control, evaluative metering, everything else, except the fact that obviously you can't review your pictures afterwards and it takes 35mm film. Now, I'm just going to do a quick blog and kind of talk about the camera and its pros and cons, and pros and cons of getting a film camera. Now, the reason why I got this camera was because I wanted a DSLR, but I don't want an entry-level DSLR, because I've had a Nikon D60 when they first came out. I've used recently a Nikon D3200, and I have to say, with the kit lens, I wasn't that impressed. Yes, it was nice, very nice, but I wasn't overly impressed compared to my little Canon Eos. So I decided to get this. This is a Canon Eos 3000V, also known as a Rebel K2, K2 Lite, QD, whatever you might call it. But it's a film camera from SLR. SLR means it's single lens reflex and detachable lenses. This one is a 20-90 EF lens. And if I take this off and I show you, put that down. Now if I show you this here, you'll see the mirror lock up like so. You can even take continuous shots. Whoops, wrong one. Okay, so it does everything a digital SLR, or you know what you'd commonly know as a DSLR would do, except for the fact that at the back, take this off, at the back, and I'm going to switch my camcorder to macro mode, so give me a second. At the back I have an LCD screen, and you'll see on the LCD screen I have my basic information. If I put that in manual, you'll see that better. Here we go, I'm changing the shutter speed. And it has the evaluative metering, which basically is a little meter across the bottom that tells you when your picture is under or overexposed. So yeah, judging by the camera's, the lens system and the camera itself. And I have all the functions, and you'll see at the top as well. We even have some shooting modes here. We have the usual landscape, sports, macro, and nighttime shooting. Now, the reason why I love this camera and why I've gotten so attached to this camera, I actually had this camera up for sale at one stage and I took it off because I've actually grown quite fond of this camera. I've taken some nice pictures with it. I think taking film and digital is kind of different. With film, you know, you're using a 24-roll film, which will be, let me see if I have them here. Yes, I have one in my bag here. Using 24-roll film that you get in these little canisters. And if I flip that open, you'll see it's a roll of film. Now, because I'm shooting film and not just putting everything onto an SD card and piling away, I tend to be very careful about the pictures I take. Now I have this back in macro mode, hang on. There we go, sorry about that. So, I tend to be very careful about the pictures I take. Now, I'm going to go into the pros and cons of this from a personal point of view, just like with the S4000 reviews I've done previously. The pros I find with this, well, as I say, it's full manual control. I have f22, even 27, all the way down to, with the filter I have at the moment, f.4, f4.0, beg your pardon. And shutter speeds ranging from bulb, you know, that's exposure as long as the trigger's held down, all the way up to 1/2000 of a second. So with all this control between continuous shooting modes, which is great. This isn't the fastest camera, but I don't need it to be. And I have self-timer and everything else for taking self-portraits, whatever might be needed. So between all that, it's quite a functioning little camera. And what's great about this camera, and I really like it, is that I have a great feel for this kind of camera and getting the angle, getting the focusing. I mean, with manual and automatic focusing, there's never a problem. If the camera won't focus something, you switch to manual, you do it yourself. Now, macro pictures. I'm going to show you a sample of a macro picture I've taken with this camera, just this camera, no other lenses, just exactly as you see it here. This was taken of a cat scratch toy. And as I say, what they say about photograph what you know, well, that's true, because I do have a lot of cats here. I help out sometimes with Cat's Aid, and I do get some cats that I'm looking after as well. So yeah, I like to take pictures of what I know. My favourite will be landscape. I love taking landscape pictures, which is why I've actually invested in one of these. And this is an ND graduated filter. Okay, you see that better? Now I'll show you on the camcorder what this means, and I apologise for the shakiness on this for 1 second. But right out there, you can see that's my window. Now I'll let that settle down a second and I'll show you the difference. There's your normal cloud with your camera as is. Now if I apply the gradiated picture, and you can see the difference. Okay, so if I take that and put it up and then slowly bring it down. Sorry, not doing a great job of that, but you can see the difference. It basically underexposes or actually corrects the exposure of the sky to keep it at the same level of with the ground. If I take it away, you'll see what I mean. Okay, well, basically, just let that settle, sorry. Basically, that's why I have this filter, because I do like landscape pictures and it's nice to have it in. And this I got on eBay. It was like $3 or something, and that was free postage from Hong Kong. Not the best quality in the world, but it does me, and it does the job. It, does what it says on the tin. And that's why I like it. And it has a double screw, which means you can put another filter in or a lens hood or whatever you want. Now consider I got this camera, this Canon 3000V. I got all the manuals, I got a spare roll of film, spare batteries, all the body caps and everything. And all that was €65. So, back to the camera. First things first. As I've said so far, everything I like about the camera is the feel of it. I like the weight. It's not too heavy, but it's heavy enough that you're aware it's on your shoulder, it's on a strap. And I also like the fact that you have full manual control and the shooting modes as well as the full automatic mode. So if you're not happy depending on yourself for taking shots, you can just slap it into auto if you're tired or whatever and just take some shots. Now, the only con I have about this camera, believe it or not, and I have to say it is the only con, is it's film. So if you want to take a roll of film, pay for the film, get it developed, and print it out, whatever it might be, or onto CD, you could pay a lot. But you could also do what I did. I went into my local dealer. Sorry for that, one of the cats. I went into my local dealer who does a Fuji store kind of place and a lab. And I said, look, I'm going to be getting tons done here. Can you do me a deal on getting a few rolls at a time done? And so we came to an arrangement where I get a roll of film. I get it developed, put on CD with the negatives, because I don't need them printed out. And I get all that for €5. So, if you're the kind of person that takes tons and tons of pictures of just random stuff, I'd say to you, you have to be a little bit more cautious with a film camera. With a film SLR, you have to be a little bit more aware of what picture you're taking, otherwise you're just wasting film, and wasting film is wasting money. So, but if, like me, you're very kind of cautious about what picture you take, you have something in mind for a picture before you take it, or you spot something and you take it, then this works out fine, because you don't have to bring all the film in one go. A handy little thing to have, which what I carry around with, is a marker, and if there's a really good picture I'm dying to see, I'll mark that out on the canister and say, okay, this has a good picture, or these are pictures of sports, or these are pictures of whatever it might be. Now, in my next few videos, I'm going to be talking a little bit about kind of the pictures I've taken with this. So for now, I'll leave you with an example of a few shots I've taken with this camera, both ones that I would consider to be good that I like, and a few bad ones to show you how things can go really bad. All in all, I'm going to give this camera a 9 out of 10. The only thing I don't give this full marks for is because for most people, having film or 35mm film is going to be a problem, but not for me. But again, because I can't review my pictures on the back, I mean, it's a film camera, what do you want? So for that I take a point off, but for the camera itself, if you want a film camera, I highly recommend this. Some really class quality pictures coming out of this, really comfortable, easy to use, and for the price, you just can't go wrong. Now if you have a digital camera, yeah, that's brilliant. If you already have a DSLR, whether you have a compact, whether you have a camcorder you're taking pictures with, that's all fine too. With the Togblog, I'll be doing some kind of showing you some of the shots I take, whether it be out in my back garden or in the park or the beach, whatever it might be. I'll take along a camcorder and show you what settings I'm using, so that it might help you out in pictures you're taking. I'm not a professional by any means. I'm just an average Joe who absolutely adores photography, and I want to take it further into a career. So I just wanted to share that kind of journey as I go along and give you a few tips and tricks that I can along the way. Well, that's it. One last thing I wanted to do. Let's just take your picture. Well, that's it from the Tog blog. As I say, I give this camera the Canon 3000V, otherwise known as the K2 or the K2 Lite or the K2 QD. I give this 9 out of 10, and I find it even hard not to give it full marks at that. So this is Porg from the Tog blog, giving the Canon 3000V film camera 35mm 9 out of 10. And I'll see you next time for some more great reviews of cameras, talking about some photography tips, showing you setting up some shots that I'm working on, whether it be out in the back garden or as I say anywhere else. And generally I might be on again giving you another few blog about what's happening in my life and my career in regards to like photography. I got the filter today, the ND filter, and you can pick those up on eBay for really cheap. And on this camera, if you're looking for one, it's 58mm, and get a double threaded one so you can put another filter on top of that. This camera has taken some really awesome pictures, and I've only had it just over a week actually, just nearly 2 weeks. I've only had it just 2 weeks, and I'm finding using it a joy, and I really, from being in a situation where I desperately wanted the SLR, I'm not really in a rush now, to be honest, because I'm really enjoying this camera and having good fun with it. Well, that's it. That's all for the Tog blog today, and as I say, I have loads and loads of interesting videos coming for the Tog blog. You can also check out Complete Composition for some more reviews of cameras down there, and Editutes for some Lightroom tutorials. It's Porg from the Tog blog. See you next time.